Hello LEGO fans, Bricks Unbound here with another Building Hogwarts update, and we are once again in the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone challenge section of the castle. So this is going to be underneath where the quad sits. I took it off right now because I am working everything underneath it, so for ease of access and also for just general lighting for this video. So what I've mainly been working on, and what is closer to complete, is the winged key room. So the, I guess, third challenge after Fluffy the Devil's Snare. And then we have this. So right now, I am very lacking on the keys themselves, and the main reason for that is the feather pieces that are needed aren't really made anymore by LEGO, or at least not in very high quantities and sets, so it's kind of slow going to get them. Most Bricklink sellers that have them have like 4 or 5 at most, maybe, and they tend to be a bit expensive, so I have to be slowly collecting those. But this is what I've come up with here for this, and looking down at it from above, I have a few different angles for these. I don't really even know what you want to call them. They're not really walkways because you're not really supposed to be up walking on them. I guess different support type structures, archways, something like that. Because in the film they do kind of fly around a few of those, and it gives it a nice look, I think, because the problem is it's really just a big empty room with some keys flying around, right? So you need some kind of interesting architecture for it. So this is what I'm going with. There's quite a bit of studs not on top building. So if we look down at this front one, so there's a brick, so one stud wide, essentially. It's all on its side there, and then a few of them have studs on 2 sides of the, like, the 1x1 bricks, and then I've just attached plates and tiles to the side of that, and it is close enough to 2 studs wide before I get to those outside tiles that I can kind of make it look like these curved tile pieces are actually attached, which they aren't. They just fit around the sides of the round columns there. But I think it worked out pretty well, actually, for how that design did. And fitting this one on at an angle, essentially just at the end, I think this end maybe? Yeah, this end. So I just have a Technic brick on its side and an axle piece that comes up through the round bricks, and then that just it just sits there, so it's just gravity holding it on. The other side isn't actually attached by anything, but I just slide it back down over there. Since these have axle holes in it, that works pretty well for securing that one. I mean, you don't want to shake it around a whole lot, but it is pretty stably in there. Right now, the ground here, the floor, is not tiled over or anything. I'm kind of holding off on that, as well as holding off on the rock pieces in the back being more firmly attached and having more parts on them. And the reason for that is that I want to make sure, before I stick anything else solidly to the ground, that I know what the rest of it is going to look like and how much spacing I'm going to need for it. So I did start working on the next challenge over, the Transfigured Chess set, so McGonagall's challenge, and all of the chess pieces themselves are just the ones from the official set. I thought that for now at least they looked good enough. The chess board is not the same one from the official set though, because that one was too big. I have it actually just leaning up back here. So in that one, each of the squares was a 4x4 space, and with no studs. Whereas with this one, I just made them all 3x3 squares instead. You can see how I did that, and I gave them a way to actually attach things to them, so just put a single stud directly in the middle. And it actually looks pretty good, I think, because even in the films they're pretty tightly pressed together as far as the pieces, so you can't get by them. So I think this works out perfectly fine to have them, because they're all spaced on 2x2 plates, so having those in the center of a 3x3 square works fine. There's not too much overlap or too much overhang between the different chess pieces. So I think that actually worked out pretty well and did let me make the board quite a bit smaller. So that's, I think it's 10 less studs wide currently, 8 for the squares, and then this one had 1 stud wide on each side. I'm still going to put torch things, maybe I'll just take the ones from the official set around it. But again, I haven't done any kind of attaching this to the base plate or anything. It's just going to be too much work to move everything around by a stud or two if I decide that I need more or less room for the remaining challenges. And I have the kind of background column design here as well. It's not complete at all. I'm mainly trying to figure out spacing, but I think this will work out all right because the main focus is really the chess pieces themselves and the chessboard. So right now it's just set up as it was at the beginning of the game in the film, and I'll make it a little bit more interesting by moving some parts around, because you can actually play a full game of chess with this if you want, because it's got all the pieces and the board is the right size. But I'll move it around, have fewer pieces on there, have them spread out, and then I've already kind of done it with the ones that I removed for where the characters are standing. But in between some of the columns I'll have more broken, beat up looking pieces, which as I remove pieces from the board I'll probably just kind of pull them apart and scatter their parts in the background, because in the film they say something, I think Harry says something about, is this a graveyard? It's not the exact line, but that's the gist of it, and they realize it's a chessboard. But they think it's a graveyard because there's lots of busted up chess pieces there. So this is coming along fairly well also. One little challenge is that the Winged Keys room, its door is right here behind this section, and I really would rather have it be centered. So I might just have to do some magic and cover up this door with some bricks and then just put another door there. I don't really want to make this room any deeper, because then the action will just be further back even, which will make it harder to see, because how I have those keys attached right now, they're all attached to the back wall, which I think does give you a pretty good look for them swarming around Harry. Again, I need a bunch more of them in there, but I don't really want to make that back wall actually be any further back underneath things. So I'll probably just make up a new door and set it where that archway piece is now as a placeholder. So next is the the next two rooms are actually ones that were not in the film but were in the book. So the next room after it was another mountain troll, just a larger one than the one they encountered in the bathroom. So, and it's already been knocked out, so that will just be a fairly blank looking room, probably a tiled floor with maybe some archway things like this around, just to give it a little bit more interest, because it's just a big old troll laying over in the middle of the room. And then next to that is the potion riddle, which isn't going to take up much space at all. It just needs to have a single table that's big enough to have 7 potion vials on it. I'm planning on looking back at the riddle and some people's artwork and things for it to try and, because I think there's some official-ish artwork on like the Wizarding World website for what the vials will look like for that and the table. So I'm planning on looking at that and just kind of making it fit, but it's not going to have to be a very large room at all. So this width is probably plenty. Maybe I can even shorten it slightly. And then the final space in here is going to be the final confrontation at the Mirror of Erised. Might do studs in the side building to get the floor in there, because it's kind of a multi-tiered room if you remember the film. I think it'll maybe fit in this space, but I might want a couple extra studs, which is why I haven't firmly attached or tiled over these spaces yet. The Devil's Snare challenge is going to stay this width because that's what I needed to have the net piece fit underneath everything there. But and it's already kind of cramped, which fits the scene, but I don't want to make it any smaller for sure. You also notice that the figures are actually in the correct outfits now in the rooms. I placed a Bricklink order to get a bunch of copies of the minifigures that came with the chess set. So now I have enough of them because I don't actually need any Rons past this point. I just need 2 more Hermiones and 1, 2, 3 Harrys remaining, which I have those now. So making some good progress here. I do want to figure out spacing in these rooms next, probably, before I start doing too much more permanent looking structures in the other rooms, but that'll do it for this video. So let me know what you think of the progress on the Philosopher's Stone / Sorcerer's Stone challenges, and please keep coming back for more videos. Thank you for watching.